Hello, I welcome you to today's episode of the Inspired Woman Show, your path to life purpose discovery, and this is your host, Dr. Chinwe Okudo, a transformational life purpose coach, a mental health provider, and a family nurse practitioner, and it's my pleasure to have you today. And on today's topic, we're gonna be discussing on self-care is not selfish. Yes, most times the word self-care is something that we all know about. What does it mean? Simply means caring for yourself. But most times we all get caught up in doing other stuff and fail to make time to care for our own self. And we also most times spend time caring for other people, doing everything for everyone else without making the time for ourselves. Especially as women, most times we find ourselves taking care of our family members, our children, our spouses, or our family, be it our parents or siblings, and we fail to consider the things that we need to consider to be sure that we are healthy. So today it's very important that we pay attention to this topic because it's something that is very important for us. In order for us to live purposefully, we have to make sure that the vessel that is supposed to serve the purpose is healthy. So taking care of yourself is something that helps you not just physically, it helps you emotionally, and it helps you spiritually to be able to stay in tune to your maker, to be able to understand what he has sent you here to do. So this is very important. And there are so many reasons why self-care is important. It's important because it can help us to prevent burnout. It's very important because it can help us to prevent depression, anxiety, resentment, and also stress. When you don't take care of yourself, you get so stressed out and every little thing irritates you. It's also very good to prevent some chronic diseases. There are a lot of diseases out there that develop because we fail to care for ourselves, just like doing our annual checkups. Let's say a lot of people end up finding out that they have things like cancer, and by the time you find it, it's been there for a while because we did not do our due diligence by going for our annual checkups. And also things like heart disease. Most people, by the time they find out about their heart disease, it's been lingering for so long because they did not do what they needed to do to care for themselves. So this is important that we are doing what we can to prevent burnout, to be in the right state of mind, and to be able to live healthy emotionally and spiritually and physically. So before we proceed, I want to share with us a couple of ways that we can care for ourselves. But before we go into that, I need to talk to us about what SAMHSA says about dimensions to wellness. So SAMHSA is actually the National Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and they have 8 dimensions of wellness. Even though this is something that is developed for people with mental health condition or developed by mental health authorities, but these are dimensions that still goes across the border for everyone. Everyone needs to meet these dimensions of wellness in order to live wholly. So what are the dimensions according to SAMHSA? It considers emotional dimension to wellness, it considers environmental dimension to wellness, it considers financial, intellectual, occupational, physical, social, and spiritual dimensions to wellness. So now let's consider the emotional dimension to wellness. What do you need to do to stay stable emotionally? It's recommended that you make time to spend time with family, with loved ones. Take time to hug. Take time to share your emotions. Don't bottle things down. A lot of us go into depression because of bottled emotions. So if there are things that are bothering you, find someone trustworthy that you can talk to, that can be able to shed some light into what you're going through, or that can help you to release those emotions. Something happened yesterday at my clinic. There's one of my clients who actually comes to my clinic. I do weight loss, I do aesthetic services, and I also do mental health services. So this is my weight loss client, but I realized that for a couple of weeks I haven't seen him. He's a guy, and I had to ask my staff to reach out to him and make sure he's okay. Lo and behold, when she reached out to him, it happened that he had lost his job and has been very depressed for the past 2 weeks but hasn't really shared his emotions with anyone. And that single call really changed everything for him. He showed up this morning to the office and was very thankful that we remembered to reach out to him. And he said to himself, someone was really thinking about me, and that gave him another fresh breath of life, and he was ready to get back on track to continue with his weight loss journey. So when things are going on in your life, when you express your feelings or talk to someone trustworthy, that helps you to stay emotionally stable. So take the time to talk to someone, take the time to reflect, take the time to journal, take the time to listen to a music that uplifts your spirit, take the time to take a nap. It helps your emotion to stabilize when you can take a minute or a few 30 minutes or 1 hour in sometime in the day to take a nap to reset yourself. It helps you to stay strong emotionally. Then let's consider the environmental dimension to wellness. For the environmental dimension to wellness, it's suggested that you take a walk outside to breathe in the fresh air outside, because there's something about breathing in that fresh air. Enjoy the sun, enjoy the night sky, and also avoid clutter. Sometimes we don't understand that staying in a cluttered environment, be it outside or be it inside, when you are in a cluttered environment, it clutters your mindset, it clutters your brain. So take time to stay and live clutter free. Pick up the clutter around you. Make sure you find yourself in a clean environment, because it helps you to stay emotionally stable, because you're taking care of your environment as well. Okay, now we're going to consider the financial dimension to wellness. Financially, what do you do to take care of yourself? Make sure you're saving, even if it's just $1 a day. Save for you. It's okay to save for the family, very good thing to do, but save for you, because sometimes there are things that we want to do for ourselves, but we find ourselves always busy saving for the family, saving for everybody else without saving for our own self. Save $1 for yourself. It's gonna do you good. And at some time in the month, take it and do something for you. Buy something that you like to take care of your own self. So as you're working on investing for the family, also save for your own personal needs that will bring you satisfaction. Another important dimension that we need to consider is the intellectual dimension. Yes, that is very important, that we keep our brain active. The only way to keep your brain active is by continuous learning. You have to continue to develop yourself. You have to continue to read or listen to audiobooks. If you're too busy that you cannot take a book and read, listen to audiobooks. It helps to keep your mind, it helps to keep your brain going. I don't care how old you are, there's always something to learn each day. There's something to always learn. Continue to empower yourself, empower your mindset by constantly learning. Watch documentaries, complete some puzzles. They help to challenge your brain. So take time to complete some puzzles. You can do that with your family or with your kids. Turn it into a game that you and your family members can play. Be creative. I know not everybody is creative, but there's something about creativity and your brain. It helps to expand your brain. It helps to make you think. For you to come up with something creative is not easy. Just like coming up with my topics for this show is not easy. You have to think. Sometimes some of the things that I share are really spirit led, and I really don't have to think about that because that's something that I'm led. But sometimes I have to really think, okay, what do we need to be talking about on this episode? So be creative. It helps your brain to keep active. So try as much as you can to do some certification course. What is it that you're passionate about? You can take certification courses on those things. Keep learning. Like the saying goes, when we stop learning, we stop living. So continue to learn and develop your brain. Okay, and the next part we're going to be talking about is the occupational dimension to wellness. So just like a little bit of what I said about the intellectual part of wellness, you have to continue to empower yourself in your occupation. What kind of job do you do? Is there a trade that you need to learn? Is there a certification again that you need to do to help you be the best you can at your job? that's part of being authentic as well. Authenticity is about being the best version of yourself. I'm gonna have a separate show totally on that part, on authenticity as a topic. But you have to be the best you can in your occupation. What do? Be the best at that. One thing that gives me so much joy is when my clients come into the office and they tell me about my reviews. It gives me a new burst of energy, a new burst of life. That's one thing I keep on hearing when they come in. They always have to commend of my services, of the way I relate with them. Because why? Each day I keep trying to find out what are the best ways to be the best that I can to the client, to the population that I serve. Because no one knows it all, and my heart desire is to be the best in what I do. And I'm not perfect, but I'm learning each day, and I'm trying to improve in what I do. Even though I have a doctorate degree, I still continue to learn. I still continue to take certifications. I have so much certifications that I don't have enough space in my wall to hang them, because I want to keep learning. I want to keep developing myself. So what occupation do you find yourself? Take time to develop yourself so that you can be the best in that occupation. That is part of taking care of yourself, because when you do the best you can in your occupation, it gives you a fulfillment, which is good for your mental health, and which is part of caring for yourself. That dimension to wellness is your physical dimension. Oh my goodness, we cannot overemphasize that. Exercise. We have to take time to exercise. I have said that over and over, even if it's 15 minutes. I said there's YouTube videos that you can watch. I always say I recommend Chloe thing, because that's what I follow. Even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's 10 minutes, do something to keep your physical health healthy. Exercise yourself. Pump that blood. It helps your heart to stay healthy, helps you burn more calories. Take time to exercise. Sometimes it can be challenging. I know some days, because we're always very busy, you get up, by the time you know it, it's time to leave the house, it's time to go to work, and you barely have any time. But even if it's 10 minutes, chip in that 10 minutes, it will help you. Eat healthy. I have a video that I have another a show whereby we talked about the anti-inflammatory food that helps with pain, but it doesn't just help with pain, it helps you to live healthy. Look at that video, and also consider other diet options that you have. Eat healthy, because this is the body that carries you. You have to feed it with healthy food, vegetables, fruit, but you have to be very careful about the fruit, because not every fruit is good for you, because some of the fruits have sugar in them, and when you eat a lot of that can make you gain weight. So eat more of veggies, more of protein, a little bit of carb, and a little bit of fruit. And try to drink water. Water is life. Drink. Always carry a bottle of water with you, because sometimes when you don't see the water around you, you might forget to drink. Make sure you're always staying hydrated by drinking enough water. And the next dimension that I have to talk about is social dimension. It's very hard to take care of yourself without having some social connection, because we all need to do something socially to be able to stay functional. Take time to meet up with your family, with your friends. Keep in contact with your old friends. Volunteer for a charitable cause. Do something meaningful for yourself. Have fun. Engage in healthy social media use, because sometimes we find ourselves wasting time on social media. Make sure that you are very intentional about your social media use. Set time and stick to that time schedule. If not, before you know it, you waste all day on social media. So take time to have some fun and do something that can help you to stay strong. Emotion is all part of things that help you emotionally, by having some fun and meeting up with friends and trying to do things that help you to have some kind of fun. Now, the next dimension and the final dimension on the wellness dimension, which is the 8th dimension, is the spiritual dimension. We are spiritual beings. And that brings me down to what the purpose of this show is about. This is part 2, life purpose discovery. We all have a purpose to serve. We are all made for a purpose, and everything we've been through in life, like I've always said, is tied to our purpose. So one of the greatest way to take care of yourself is by staying in tune with the one that created you, with the one that made you. Who can better know you than the manufacturer? So take time to communicate with your manufacturer, because that's the one that made you. That's the one that knows what you need best. So take time to meditate. Take time to communicate with him. If it's through prayer, if it's through studying the word, for like some people believe in other things, but I'm a believer, and my channel tends to be Christian based, because that's what I believe in. I believe in God, and one of the ways to spiritually take care of yourself is by praying, and also by being mindful of what you think about. It's also a spiritual act, because if you think about positive things, that's spiritual. Think, like the Bible says, whatso things are holy, whatso things are pure, think on those things. So think on pure things, think on holy things, think on things that will profit yourself, not being upset, looking evil about someone else, no matter what they've done to you. Leave them to the one that can handle them. Stay positive, think positively, look to the higher power to support you. Just like I was sharing with the same client that I was talking about today, he was laid off from his work after 22 years of service. For no reason, they laid him off and replaced him with someone else of a different race. And I told him, instead of being upset and bitter, leave them to the one that can handle them, because what we sow, we will reap. So we have to be very careful what we sow, so that we don't reap something wrong. If you don't want to reap something wrong, please do not do something wrong, because you're going to reap, because that's how life is. So love, commit to loving the people around you, commit to loving yourself, most importantly, because for you to love other people, you gotta love yourself. For you to be able to give out to other people, you do not give from an empty vessel. When you've been able to love yourself enough and fill yourself up and do what you need to do for yourself, that is when you can be able to give out to other people. So take time to connect to your maker. Take time to do something meaningful for other people. That's a spiritual act. And take time to love on God, love on yourself, and love on other people. This has been an educative episode, I believe. I hope you do enjoy it. It's very important to take care of yourself. Self-care activity is something that we do every day. It's not something that we do some days when it's good for us, when it's not good for us. We have to create a balance and work towards fulfilling the 8 dimensions of wellness, because it will help us to have an overall improved health. It will help us to enjoy life. Life is supposed to be enjoyed. So let's take time to enjoy it by caring for ourselves, that we might be able to stay healthy enough to serve the purpose of God for our lives. I thank you for watching this episode today. Do share it with someone else, because you never know who is going to benefit. And if you've not subscribed, click the subscribe button and stop by for my next episode. The next episode is going to be something on health. I'm not going to share the topic. I know what it is, but it's something that we all need, but most times we all neglect. So stay tuned for our next topic on our purposeful healthy living for 2021. I am your host again, Dr. Chinwe Okudo, and thank you for stopping by, and God bless.